Welcome, everybody, to Come On Somebody.
That's good.
Today, we've got kind of a different setup for you. We're going to do some hot topics. So they may not be hot to you, but we thought they might be kind of hot topics.
I think they're pretty hot, Melissa.
Okay, all right. Let's see how fired up we can get.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. So
I'm ready.
All right, ready. Here we go. So the first thing that I have here is
All right.
the whole life versus the pro-life challenge. So
Okay.
the common culture critique of the pro-life movement, especially in a post-Roe landscape, is that the church cares deeply about the child in the womb, but often ignores the single mother, the foster system, or families struggling in poverty after the birth. So, how does the church answer that critique, and what does a truly holistic womb-to-tomb pro-life ministry look like in practice?
Wow. Well, this is a loaded question. I mean, I've been one most of my life, and if you grow up in the church, if you've got a biblical worldview, you get this from day one. Right? Life doesn't begin with conception. Life begins in the mind of God. Life begins with him, with Jesus. Jesus is the life, the way, the truth, and the life. And so it's before that. And we know, I mean, when Jeremiah, God talked to the prophet Jeremiah and said, before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you and had appointed you. Right? And so it's like God is the author of life. God's the only one who has the right to give. He's the only one who can give, and he's the one who takes. He gives and takes away. And so it's like, and I think that this critique is, I think it's right. I mean, I think they have there is a lot of evidence that would support that claim. It's like you're against abortion, but what after that? Yeah. What about the mom? Who's doing the baby shower for that single mom? Who's counseling the dad? And so it's like the one thing I would say to this is you have to lead by example. Like that's been our approach. My approach to this is, I remember I saw it. I was taking the youth group to the Awakening Music Festival, and that's the first time I saw it. It was printed in orange spray paint on a back road on a piece of plywood that said, "Being pro-life is not the same as being anti-abortion." And I remember I saw that. I was 21 years old, and I was like, "Man, that's a good point. It is more than that." So, and I think, but I think for most people, most Christians, pro-life just means, "Oh, I'm willing to vote. I'm willing to be against abortion." But it is so much more than that. I mean, there's thousands of kids going into the foster care system in this state, in Virginia, every month. I'm getting calls. We get calls. Well, once you sign up, they tell you about placements, and you hear these heartbreaking stories, man, and it's just it breaks your heart. And it's like, for the critic, for the one person, and I would challenge the pro-choice, because I would say the opposite is true. Just advocating for abortion and making that illegal, that's not a well-rounded solution.
No.
And abortion is, it's been a targeted genocide in this country since it started. They put the abortion clinics in impoverished areas, and it's like they're just encouraging, like, oh, you made a mistake. Oh, you did this. Oh, oopsie, just take a pill. Just take care of it right away. And new legislation going in now, children in Virginia and in other states may not, they can go and get consultations without even telling their parents. And so it's like, I love what our former Attorney General did, Ken Cuccinelli Jr., where he was like, because just saying abortion's illegal doesn't solve the problem. People are going to go to Canada, they're going to go to Mexico, they're going to go to wherever to get it done. It's like you can't legislate holiness. That's not the way it works. And so it's like, it has to be a holistic approach. The church needs to be geared up. The members of the church need to be geared up to take in the orphans, to take in widows, and to care for them. Like, that's why the only reason the world critiques us is because we're big on opinion, but we're short on action.
Right.
We're not making a difference. And that's why partnering with places like Life Spring, Pregnancy Center in Charlottesville, that's why we just finished up the baby bottle campaign, and we raise money for them every way we can. Why? Because they bring the mother in. They do free ultrasounds. They do consultations. They have a whole ministry to talk to the future dads to say, "Hey, look, you got to be in this child's life. You need to be a part. You need to provide."
They provide diapers. They provide clothing. I donated all of our kids' stuff, like the carriers and everything, to them after we were done. Yeah. Well, I'm going to give you a story time here. So I'm from Washington State.
Okay.
So very much a blue state.
Yeah.
And I grew up in a family that, we went to church and everything, and I don't want you to take them the wrong way, but I grew up pro-choice.
Yeah.
And it was not the sentiment on that we're killing babies. It was never presented to me that way, but more that if we give up this power over a choice over our bodies, we're going to have to give up more.
Right.
So, and it wasn't, and I was like, oh, I really had to understand, but I didn't understand that as a kid. It was always like, no, it's like, we have to be pro-choice.
Yeah.
And then I was sitting in high school, and I had a friend. Her name is Sarah. I still remember her last name. I graduated in 2000, guys. So I'm not going to, because I don't have her permission. But she was sitting across from me, and we were debating. And she was pro-life, and she was adopted.
Oh.
And she said, how dare you sit there and say my life didn't matter and I didn't belong here? What are you going to say to that?
You really don't have much.
It still gives me chills to think about it. And right then and there, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's nothing I can say. You're right.
Yeah.
She's like, me and my sister's life mattered, and we are here.
Yeah. Well, my grandfather was almost aborted in a back room because my great grandfather was a drunk, and he wasn't a good man. He had a mobile sawmill. Everywhere they'd go to set up the sawmill, he'd set up the moonshine still, and they would do both.
Yeah.
He'd cut timber in the day and make moonshine all night. And that's where I came from. And my great grandmother had just had enough. She had given my great grandfather 12 children. He wasn't faithful. But my great grandfather found out, and the vote legend is he went in, knocked the doctor out, and carried his wife home, and they had my grandfather, and my great grandfather did come to Christ and became a Christian, and he was I never got to meet him, obviously, but he changed completely when he met Jesus.
Yeah.
And so it's like DJ Carter, one of my great friends, former associate executive pastor here, he was almost aborted.
Yeah.
And so it's like I love hearing his story. I love hearing him tell it too, as a black man, his perspective. That's the big thing about this too, is you can't create a hostile environment where the conversation can't happen. The conversation needs to happen, and there needs to be that holistic approach. Whenever I preach on this, I preach to people. I know I'm preaching to people every week that have had at least one that's had an abortion. And I've had several people come up to me afterwards, and they were like, thank you for presenting it in such a way to where we can get grace and you can receive healing, because that's something that Planned Parenthood don't tell the mom.
No.
About the depression. Your body feels it. The woman's body feels it. She knows she's lost something. She knows that. And so it's like, they don't prepare you. They don't prepare you for that. Oh, it'll be fine. It won't hurt. It'll be painless. You can go on with your life. And most abortions too, I mean, you got to look at the statistics, because this conversation can get pigeonholed to say, well, what about incest? What about rape? What about, should there be exceptions? And I would say that there could be, and probably should be, some exceptions. But there should also be informative. There should also be informative. Say, listen, somebody should be there, and that's where LifeSpring is, to be like, look, you're a victim in this situation, but you have a baby now that's innocent. You have a baby now that you can bring in, you can love, and God can bring beauty from ashes, and you can surround those people and help them through that tragedy. And it's like, that's what we need to be thinking about. The majority of it's less than 1% of abortions that are rape and incest.
We like to make rules based off of the less than 1%.
Absolutely,
that's what we're great about.
And that's
because we're so afraid. It's the fear, right? It's the fear, like, oh, but what if? And it's like, you can't live in that what if.
And those do happen.
Yeah.
But the majority of abortions are actually from middle-aged white women.
Yeah.
Let that sink in for a minute. It is not I don't know if I can support this child. It's more of I don't want the inconvenience. I didn't mean for this to happen, and I'm just going to make it go away. And the problem is that's a life. Yeah. That's a life, man. After 21 days, there's a heartbeat, right? With the technology we have, it's not just a clump of tissues. John the Baptist, the Bible says that when the mother of Jesus met the mother of John the Baptist, it says the baby leaped in her womb. Yeah. The baby. Also says that John the Baptist was filled with the Holy Spirit in the womb. The Holy Spirit doesn't fill a lump of cells. He fills people. Fills full-blooded, fully fledged human beings. And that's the beautiful thing about life, is that it comes up. And so, man, you got to get involved in foster care. You got to get involved in adoption. I'm going outside of Planned Parenthood up in Charlottesville. There's 4 or 5 guys up there. Eric Holm was one of them. They stand out there and they just say, if you need prayer, if you need another solution, handing out flyers. Because a lot of times they don't know they don't know all the options. Planned Parenthood doesn't give them all the options.
No.
Planned Parenthood's in the business of making money. And that's all. I'm not going to get into all that because the founder, Margaret, I can't remember her last name. The founder of Planned Parenthood was just a full-blown racist. And that was the whole point behind it. That is from Satan to destroy. He comes to steal, kill, and to destroy. And so we need to be in a position to where we can meet people in that valley of decision and say, look, this is hard. You're going through this. I don't understand what it means to be you right now, but I want you to know you have options. Yeah. And I want you to know that what's in your womb is a life. Yeah. And you have an opportunity now to turn this around, and we have people that'll help you and help buy baby clothes and diapers and formula and all of those things.
I've told my coworkers, because my coworkers are a lot younger than me, that if they were ever in a spot where there was a crisis, that I'd take a baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like if they needed help, they can come to me. If they, so it's like you can come to me, like even my boss old boss who does not go to church or anything. And she's like, bring your baby to me. It's fine. So like there are people out there, like we will help you. And also like people who've gone through abortion. I think that's where I have like a soft spot for as a woman is that like, they have shame. They have like all these feelings and everything. And it's like, Jesus loves you. He still loves you. I still love you. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't judge you. I don't feel like I just want to be alongside of you to help you. And if I can help someone before they get there as a woman, because I'm sure you've heard it, like you're a man, you don't get to have any decision. You don't get to have a say because you're a man.
Right.
So you don't carry the baby.
Right.
But that's not fair. Because you helped create the baby.
Right.
So why don't you get a decision in it?
Yeah. That's a whole nother nuance.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother nuance. But that's where like I've counseled people that have gone through the devastation of finding out, like even not just having an abortion, but even finding out that their parents were thinking about it.
Oh, yeah.
Like I've counseled people. I mean, it affects people.
Makes it like my parents never wanted me.
Deep way.
Yeah.
That virtue signaling on either side.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody talks about reproductive rights. I wish somebody talk about reproductive responsibility.
Yes.
I mean, think about.
And that goes. That's what I've always said. Goes right along with it. Yes.
Has to be preached.
Yeah.
God's design
we
has
can
to
prevent
be preached.
Babies from being conceived. There's
a great way to prevent it. Keep it in your pants.
Turn on the TV in the bedroom instead. My friend said that to me yesterday. She goes, "Those people need to turn on the TV." And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Be careful what you find on the TV too now.
I was going to say Disney, but even then that's not safe.
Even in Disney, there's a whole section. There's a whole pride collection in Disney. There's a cartoon called Out about it's in every area. You got to really be careful and watch and parameter that as well. Think about all the problems that the government tries to fix, that the church tries to fix, that the community tries to fix. If one man got with one woman for life, right, and we're faithful to God and we're faithful to each other, think about how much money the government could save. Think about all the welfare. Think about all the child support. Think about all the Medicaid, all the stuff that goes. And it's great that families that are impoverished have those. But the better thing is, you have a family unit that can support itself and bless others. Yeah. And so it's like, man, we got to go back to God's design. It's not hateful to talk about one man and one woman. That's God's design. That's how He intended, so that we could repopulate the species, so that we could stay alive. And it's one of those things where that's a separate hot topic, but they are tied together.
Yeah.
They are tied together because lust is never satisfied, and when sexual immorality is allowed to spread in one area, it doesn't stay there.
Right.
And so people are talking about now all the problems that we're having now. Man, we're seeing the grandchildren of the sexual revolution. That's where that was. Free love. That's where it started. Yeah. 60s and 70s.
Peace, love, dope.
Have sleep around with anybody you want. Yeah. Free love. Right? But then a revival was birthed out of that because there was no hope in the drugs, and there was no hope in just hooking up. People needed Jesus. And they still do. And so the good news is we can be a part. We can be a family and a community that says, no, listen, we want to dedicate the baby and we want to bury it later on in Christ. We want them to go all the way through. And so the way we do that is personal involvement. Get involved. Even if you don't want to be a foster parent, help a foster parent. Even if you're like, I don't want to be an adoptive parent, help an adoptive parent.
Yep.
You can babysit, you can clean, you can cook, you can hang out, you can have play dates, you can invite, whatever.
Ask them what food they yes. Ask them what food they need. Ask them what clothing size they may need. Like if you've got stuff sitting around, my kids have so much clothes, so it's
we got a daycare here with mothers that chose to have their children, and now we as a church are providing affordable childcare so that they can raise their children. Yep. That's how you handle it. And so it's like you have to reach out intentionally. You got to personally be involved, and then you got to keep that corporate family environment so that we can take you.
Yeah. So this is like a spin-off hot topic that I don't have written on my list, but it was just making me think. So I worked with a nice guy at the clinic for a while, and he had come from the women's prison. She was a correctional officer. Okay. You've been one. You weren't at the women's prison, though.
Thank God, no. So I do have a funny story about the women's prison that I won't share at this moment.
Okay. Well, so we were talking. I remember we were talking about random things. And he shared just how hard it was to be around these women. One, they didn't have hope. Two, there was and I still remember this. We haven't worked together in like 13 years. Yeah. And he shared that he listened to a group of women talking how they couldn't wait till they got out so they could have more children. So therefore they could get more money from the government. Yeah. So that that is another hot topic that, like, you know, how do we as the church,
we perpetuate that as a government when we don't have any accountability, when you're giving out aid without proper accountability. I mean, it
made me think too of like the whole, like you've done sermon series on this and how like it is our job to have a job. Yeah. We're called to go to work.
Please.
Be a productive member of society. Yes. You don't get to sit around and pop out babies so you can get paid for them. That's not how this works. Yeah. And it's just, to me, it's just like baffling. Like, you know, I'm sitting here working, my children are in a loving daycare with like people and stuff. And to think like, oh, if I just didn't work and I just popped out more kids, then I could get paid by the government. No, I am called
by the kid. Yeah,
I am called to go out there and to be a productive member of society. Right. And then that's also how my children learn to be a productive member of society. I don't care what job you do. Every job is meaningful. We all have a job. We all don't get to be managers. Well, we all don't get, you know, and that's like the other problem that I'm seeing too.
You need Indians. The chief needs Indians.
I don't know if that's very PC, but
well,
it's true.
The leader needs foot soldiers.
There we go.
I mean, you got to have followers and a leader.
I don't know. Like, I just have seen, I've been at my job for almost 20 years, 20 years in October. And I've seen so much. As a person, I was raised to be a productive member of society. You do your job. You do your job to the fullest. We are not all meant to be managers. I've been offered manager positions where I'm like, you've got to be crazy. I'm looking for the least, like, I want to go say, do you want fries with that? Like at times. So, but people come in. I always do. People come in
brought some fries
and they're
today.
like, I am entitled to that management position.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like,
there's an entitlement undertone.
And I'm like, how do I fight that scripturally and not be a bad person? Yeah. Where it's just like, you know, turning back to the Bible and be like, no, we all have to start somewhere. We all, you know, and every little job is important. Yeah. You know, don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today. That's right. You know? So, all right. Moving into the next thing. Sorry, that was my little rant for a little bit. The political idol.
Oh, boy.
So, it feels like political identity has...
I used to have an American flag. I wanted to wave it.
Where did it go?
I don't know.
Oh,
my kids probably took it.
I was going to say it got given out on the 4th of July. Sorry, all we got is Bucky in the background and some wrestlers. But it feels like political identity has eclipsed religious identity for a lot of people in the pews today. So how can we, as believers, passionately engage in the public square and stand up for our values without letting our political party become our functional savior?
Oh, boy. Well, this is a great topic, too, especially with all the talks of, you know, Christian nationalism. That's a buzzword that's going around
my gosh,
now,
yes.
Where, you know, you know,
I think you have to just define Christian nationalism.
Well, I think it's how you define it. It's like where people are, you know, it's more about their patriotic heritage than it is about them being saved by grace through faith, right?
I've also seen it used as a way of scaring people. It's a scare tactic.
Yeah.
If you love your country and you are a Christian,
right?
Okay, check.
Yeah.
You're a Christian nationalist because we see that as like a terrorist.
Yeah.
Is how our minds have been taught to associate it. So I think it's used that as a way to terrify non-believers, to terrify other people, to be like, oh, these people are terrorists because they love their country and they love religion.
Right. Well, I mean, it can be used that way, and I think it can become a soapbox on the other side too, for people that are like, we're Christians, we're only Christians, we're citizens of heaven. It's like you have to have a balanced outlook on this, because we're every believer is it's like being a dual citizen. You're a citizen of heaven, but you're also a citizen here in the U.S. of A., where God chose to have you be birthed, and this is whenever you're born in America, it's a privilege. I mean, it really is. In this country, you have access to a lot that a lot of other countries don't have access to. And so you're blessed. You can go anywhere in the world. I mean,
I was just listening to somebody the other day, and they were talking about being oppressed in this country. And I'm like, how are we oppressed? I am a woman.
Yeah.
That I'm married. I can leave my husband if I want. Other countries, nope, too bad. And if I leave my husband in other countries, guess who gets my kids no matter how bad my husband is?
Yeah, you do.
My husband. My husband gets them.
Too.
Yeah. So here, I can leave. I can get a check. It's like I have so many freedoms. I am not oppressed. And I'm like, do these people using the word oppression even know what it means?
Maybe not. I mean, that's one of the things that culture is throwing out now. It's like they're trying to polarize everybody. I mean, it's an act of the enemy to cause division, and he loves using the political scene. Satan is an expert politician.
And to create the big divide.
He does. He does it everywhere. I mean, civil war is one of his main tactics, and we're seeing that, a social civil war in this nation right now. The holistic approach, I would say, is I love America because it is my country, and it has given me a great opportunity. I've been able to pursue what I feel like God's called me to do, and I've been able to go after that, and it's been ups and downs, but it's been a wonderful thing. It's a great place to live, a wonderful country, and so. But I love it because I believe it was founded by God for the purpose of spreading the gospel, not for the purpose of spreading America, not for the purpose of spreading conservatism, or not for the purpose of spreading liberatism, not for the purpose of any of that, right? So it's like, I got to have my sights higher. I'm a Christian first, and I am also an American. I don't worship my country, but I want to honor it. I want to worship the Lord. I want to worship Him alone. And so it's like, everybody that I'm talking to is another person that Christ died for, whether they believe like me or not. A couple of elections ago, I was talking to the ladies at the Democratic tent. We had the church tent, and then the Republican tent, and then the Democrat tent. And it's right out here. And I hate that because I don't like anybody's name out there but Jesus' name. But we serve our community in that way. And so, I was talking to her, and it's like, she's like, I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I believe these things. And so it's like I found that common ground. And I said, well, that's great to hear. And I said, and abortion was one of the topics. But, gender is another topic. It's like, if all these other topics come in and come out, and we don't agree on those, but I can always come back to Jesus. I can always say, but what does God say about it? What does the Word say about it? That's what it's not political. Right. It's not, these are moral issues. They're not political issues. Being made in the image of God, gender is God's design. Like, that is not a political issue. Abortion, pro-life, pro-choice, it's a moral issue before it's a political issue. But they love to use those. They love to load the guns with those weapons because they can get people fired up. And you get fired up on one topic. They like to get people to a point where you can't see the forest for the trees. Right. And so it's like, man, I have no soapbox but the gospel. I have no other mission or purpose other than to represent Jesus Christ. And so if I'm a citizen of heaven and I want everybody to be a citizen of heaven, then that's got to be my primary thing. Great thing about America is the mission field comes here. The mission field comes in. And so it's like, I can choose to argue with somebody about illegal immigration all day long, or I can sponsor a refugee family and feed them and help them and maybe bring them to Jesus, right? Because the mission field's coming to me. I think we do need to regulate immigration. I think that's just a national function that you got to have for security. But as a Christian, I'm not going to complain about people coming from another country that are coming into my neighborhood. That's a mission field.
Yeah. Well, that goes into my next
I might
question.
get upset. Oh, they're not from here. Oh, they're not from around here. It's like, now put that aside for a second. They need Jesus.
Yeah.
And they're coming from a country where they can't hear about him to a country where he's on the money.
Yeah.
And so it's like, use it as an opportunity. You can have your political beliefs. You can vote however you want. I miss the days when you didn't know what everybody was sitting around you.
Yeah.
The politics back in the day, it wasn't like it is now.
Well, and now you have to, I don't know if this is every state. I was young when I got to vote in Washington State. I did absentee ballot. But I know now, like, you have to go in and you have to say whether you're voting Democratic or Republican.
Yeah.
And then that's what they give you.
Yeah.
And it's like, why can't they all be on the same ballot? What does it matter?
Yeah.
Like, I
for
mean,
the
maybe it does.
primaries
I
they
just
are.
don't understand.
You're
Yeah.
thinking about the primary
Okay,
election.
I'm thinking about the
You gotta
primaries. But
pick
why
who
does
the
it matter?
candidate's gonna
But
be.
why? Why
It's
can't
the
they all be on
system.
the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyways, here goes into our next question. You kind of brought this up. Law versus mercy at the border.
Okay.
Immigration is a massive flashpoint in our culture.
Yeah.
Romans 13 tells us to respect the laws of the land, yet Jesus tells us to welcome the stranger. Sorry, I have to turn my page. Yes, I have things written down because my memory's bad. Here's the question. How does a Christian navigate that tension when thinking about immigration and refuge families, which you've already touched on?
Right.
And I know for me, it's kind of hard because I love people.
Yeah.
And obviously, if people are coming here, they're coming here because they need help. They want to be here. Granted, yes, we can talk all day long about some of the people that are here to do nefarious things or whatever the word is. But at the same time, it's like, how do I teach my children to not break the law, but turn my back when we have people coming in and breaking the law? How can I?
Yeah.
And I've had this conversation because I think it was probably Espen. Espen talks a lot.
Yeah.
He asks me questions. And we were talking about people coming in. I was like, Espen, do you think you should be allowed to go to Japan, China, wherever, without your proper passport documentation, everything? Because it is the law to have those. He says, well, absolutely, we need to do that. He's like, so then why is it okay for people to come into our country without those? And so it's hard. And my bleeding heart is just like, I want to obviously help these people. But at the same time, how am I supposed to teach that we have to follow the law, but it doesn't apply to certain people?
Right. Well, and I think that is a layered conversation.
It's a big one.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
But I think I'd take the holistic approach. Again, I'm going to teach my children to abide by the laws of the land unless they directly violate the law of God. So I'm going to teach them that. I'm going to reach out with compassion, right? Because a big problem is when we keep these things in the abstract. These are real problems affecting real people. Like there's people in Texas can't get to the doctor because there's illegals pounding the office, flooding the offices. And so it's like you have to regulate that. I think you can regulate that in a civil way, in a humane way.
Right.
There are
absolutely.
There are other policies that you can put into place to help fast track and assimilate people that are here that were fleeing oppression or were fleeing persecution, or you're fleeing war-torn countries. Minister with love, live by the truth, but also understand, right? Like, if that's the one scenario you presented, you should have your documentation. The other scenario would be, what if there were people hunting us because we were Christians and we had to flee into Canada?
Right. I mean,
what would we do?
Yeah.
You're going to do
what you got to do.
Jesus was an immigrant. Jesus was a refugee.
Yeah.
He had to leave his home. Joseph and Mary had to leave and go to Egypt because Herod was trying to kill him. And so it's like, man, it's like there are real life scenarios. We all know that there comes that point to where life matters more than the rule. If it comes down to my family's life, I'm going to flee, even though I know it's illegal. That's a survival instinct. So I think you have to teach that. And you also have to teach that there are people that are going to take advantage and get in and do bad things. Yeah. And those are the people that we want to catch and we want to send back. And so it's like, I think you got to multi-layer it like that. A gospel first. I'm going to preach the gospel and present the gospel to anybody I have an opportunity to do that to. I know police officers. They're like, I'm arresting somebody, but I'm going to be kind to them, and I'm going to tell them. I'm going to witness to them in that moment, and even offer to pray with them. Yeah. And so it's like you still are enforcing the law, but I have to do this. We have to do that. Luckily we're in a position to where we're not border agents.
Right.
Oh, right. But the kids in my kids' school.
Yeah.
right? Like I want to help get them a backpack.
Right.
I want
Absolutely.
to
I don't want them to. I don't want them to live
here.
in fear either.
Right.
Like,
Minister
that's
while
the
they're
biggest
here.
thing is I don't want anybody to have to live in fear. So, and yeah, it is something that goes on through my mind a lot about like, what is the right answer? I don't have it. I don't make these policies. I don't do these things. But like you said, we just got to love on these people and help them. You know?
And don't put banner posts up, right?
Yeah.
Like saying, ship them all out,
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man. Like, I want to stop polarizing those people. We need secure borders. We need a more effective immigration system. That's something that I can only affect that with my vote.
Yeah.
Every so many years. So I'm gonna vote that way. I'm gonna vote my conscience. I'm gonna vote according to what I believe lines up biblically. But if a group of refugees moves in here, I'm gonna try to feed them as often as I can. I'm gonna take their kids to the pool. I'm gonna let them play in the yard at the church.
Make them feel safe. Make them feel loved.
Exactly.
Yep. So, all right. Well, I think we got through a couple hot topics. So maybe we'll come back. Yeah, we'll come back next time and maybe we'll hit you with some more. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to send them to our church office. Don't forget to like and subscribe us. So
that's right.
That's been your episode of Come On Somebody.
Thanks for watching. Thank you for tuning in to the Come On Somebody podcast. I hope that the episode is really encouraging you and giving you something to think about so you'll draw closer to Jesus this week. We want you to continue to enjoy it, and if you like it, please subscribe and follow the channel. If you would like to know more about what's going on at Antioch Baptist Church, you can check out our website at www.antiochva.org. We hope that you stay tuned, and we hope to see you again next week. Thanks for watching.